Sharing in group chats.
We are the New York Knicks. 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 Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Just like that, look who's back in the mix. Straight out of New York City, it's them Red Hot Knicks.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks are back. I feel like it's 1994 all over again. You can see the smile on my face. Yeah, we might have lost last night, and I'll get into that. But the way they look, the pinpoint passing, the threes from way back. This team has some movement on them, not like the other team down in Brooklyn.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
Oh, excuse me.
What happened?
Said I'd like to welcome everybody to the sports hit list edition of the Fan Zone. We are here every week to give you our perspective of every single sport. I'm Mike Phillips, and alongside me is my co-host. He's usually Manny Manos, but today he's Hoodie Manny. Manny, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, my brother? A lot of stuff that has been going on, especially today. I was hoping I heard OBJ coming to the Raiders, but Mike Mayock doesn't know what he's doing.
You bring up a great point, and there weren't that many moves today. We had so many buildups, right? OBJ going here. We have Allen Robinson maybe being traded. Deshaun Watson maybe being freed from the Texans. And we get maybe 3 moves. Like
Melvin Ingram to the Chiefs.
Right.
Everybody want to go stack. Everybody wants to go to the Chiefs. And honestly, I can care less about that team. They barely beat the Giants. The Giants have Declan. Your team had one job. All I asked was for them to actually do something. And Sterling Shepard going down in injury because he's made of glass, that piece of shit. I don't care. I'm very pissed off because because of Shepard going down, I lost by 5 points to bum-ass Travis from the football team on the Sports Hit List Sundays. And he's over here taunting. Now he's yapping. But when he loses, he's quiet. And yet, I had to bring this up. One thing, because I get a win. I'm still ahead of him in the pick'ems. Only one person is ahead of me in the NFL pick'ems for the Sports Hit List, and that's Ricardo Etienne. And he's only beating me by 2 wins. That can all change. But again, I'm in second place. And again, Carl is pissed off. So again, I'm going to continue with my quote-unquote biased picks.
I love it. And listen to Carl, who tried to call you out last week. You being
no. He called me out twice, and he called me out again on Sunday. Again, for no reason.
I have to say, he might think he's the head of the table, the tribal chief, but he needs to know better than to call people out on picks, because at the end of the day, he's still a Celtics fan. We know what they're doing right now.
What happened?
He doesn't even know who to pick in football. He goes by color of jerseys, not by players. So let's be honest.
Wait, but Mike, what happened last night to the Celtics? I thought that boy was special. They were up by 19. Wait a second. Going into the fourth.
If I'm not mistaken, yes, Carl, we're being petty. You can enjoy it. With 10 to 15 seconds left in the end of the third quarter,
Yeah, by 19.
They were up by 19. With 3 seconds left in the fourth quarter, they're down by 8.
And they choke.
And listen, the Knicks played the Bulls. We beat them. The Celtics didn't. The Celtics had a 19-point lead. But now there's a little
rift.
Yeah, Marcus Smart. Oh, they won't pass it to me.
But Mike, have you noticed? Remember, there was always rifts in the Celtics because of Kyrie Irving, but yet Kyrie's not there, and there's still rifts, and it's regarding two of their best players. So go ahead and speak on Marcus Smart. What were you saying before?
Marcus Smart came out and said, I could be wide open. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, they could be double teamed. Will they pass the ball? No. So is that a team? Is that a team right there where your two stars are looking to not pass the ball? They're looking to be the superstars. Isn't it a team sport? We always talk about star or team. I think if you have a player that is technically a part of that trio, right? We talk about the trios that we have in certain teams. We got, unfortunately, Kyrie's not playing right now, but usually it would be the Kyrie, Harden.
He'll be back.
Durant. I hope so. It'll be, that's the trio. The Knicks, you got RJ Barrett, you got Kemba Walker, and you got Julius Randle. You can even put Evan Fournier in there somewhere. But your third guy, Marcus Smart, ain't being really smart right now by trying to talk about two of these guys passing the ball. So you got some rifts going on with a rookie coach. It's not a good look. And I think that bottle at the end of the year is going to look very nice in my bar as I'm drinking it and sipping on it. And I'm going to just take pictures every time I sip on it to show Carl that I was right.
I love it.
I don't say much, especially about basketball, because I'm limited. I'm a fan more than I will give him a shout out. Andres, who is a stats man. I'm not a stats man. I'm a fan, right? I'm a fan of the sport where I watch it just to see the game, to see how great it'll be, come down to the wire, whatever it may be. I've been a Knicks fan, so I can't say I'm a loyal fan because at the end of the day, the Knicks have never really been in it. So I'm just watching to watch.
Y'all look good though. Y'all look good this year. I can't really remember, Mike. I can't really say nothing about the Knicks because even when I say good things about it, I get attacked by Coach Womack. I don't know. This man got blood for me. Like I did something wrong when there was when somebody, a Miami Heat fan. Breaking news: Rams have officially waived Deshaun Jackson. What team will he go to?
He's out.
Let's see. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if the Raiders do it after what happened today, which we'll get into later.
So you talk about Womack getting on you, and this is what I'm going to get into right now. As a Knicks fan, everybody's saying, "Oh, look at these fans! It's like their championship season, the first couple of weeks of the season." Who cares? Who cares? Let us be. We let everybody else be. We sit there and we see everybody else celebrating when you go on 10-game winning streaks and you go on this, you go on that, you're hitting the playoffs. Now it's our time. And it's our time because we're playing team basketball. Now, we lost against the Raptors yesterday. But even in that game, it was the third quarter that really hurt us because the shots just weren't going down. We were taking some shots and they just weren't. Oh, here we go. Slipping in. Wow, the head of the table likes to try to slip his way in here.
Who allowed this man in here? Who gave him the keys?
I guess the landlord has the keys. Mr. Coulange,
I ain't paying
I guess you have something for us.
I ain't paying rent for the next 10 episodes. That's it.
Now he muted himself. Mr. Coulange, how can I help you?
So I'm minding my business. Can you hear me?
Oh, here he is playing victim already.
I'm not playing victim. I'm not playing victim. I'm minding my business. I'm going about my day. This is one of my busiest days ever. I'm minding my business. I've been teaching all day. I've been preaching gospel all day. And
it's not Sunday.
It doesn't have to be Sunday for me to preach.
It definitely has to be Sunday.
I'm minding my business. and I see you guys getting real slick at the mouth with the comments. I don't like what I'm hearing. I don't like what I'm hearing. So I just came for 5 minutes just to give you my 2 cents on what's going on in Boston. First of all, I told everybody this, and nobody listens to me. I watch each and every one of their games. I sit here and I watch their games. My wife could tell you I have the league pass. I watch their games. I've been watching this team for the last 6 years. Code. And there's a problem. There's a problem in Boston when you have free agents who leave on their own. You have players who don't want to be here. We made it to the Eastern Conference Finals in 17, 18, and 20, and we still can't get to the championship. There's a problem. I don't know if it's Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, but one of them have to go. I'm sorry. And I'm not going to sit here and watch my team and watch them subject to, for me, it's about the team. It's not about the individual. It's about team accolades and about team putting themselves together. And if they can't seem to do that, one of them have to go. It is
so
what
Carl, it is. So you bring up, hold on. Let me just slip in here for a second because he brings up this whole team mentality. So do you agree with what Marcus Smart was stating after last night's loss?
Absolutely. The show is basically it's a show where it's Tatum and Brown's show, and it's a matter of who could outscore each other. Right? The first game they played against the Knicks, Brown had like 46 points. The next game, Tatum scores. Like there's no cohesive unit. I understand there will be growing pains because we have a new head coach. We have a new system. But it doesn't help. And Marcus doesn't like Marcus only talks about one side of it. Like, and somebody else said in the comments, sure, they're not passing the ball, but no one's cutting either. You see what I'm saying? So like you're gonna stand there and say, oh, he's not giving me the ball, but you're not making your shots. Your shooting percentage isn't that great, and you're not cutting to the basket as well as for somebody to open shots. So it's gonna continuously be a problem.
So Carl, I have a question for you. I have one question for you. You have a choice to keep one of them. Who do you keep?
I don't care. Because they're similar players. It doesn't matter.
Come on, you know you got one.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't matter because at the end of the day, when you have two similar players like that, to me, and they don't have enough in their bench, they don't have enough in deep of the roster, to contend.
I mean, I know usually you say the best ability is availability, so I know you'll probably go Tatum because Brown's been injured more.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is. And I don't want to say Tatum. I'm not going to sit here and call Tatum a diva. I'm not going to sit here and call any players what they're not. But the entire roster is not constructed to contend for a championship. And when you don't have that, and when you have guys playing the way they do, that's what's going to lead to at the end of the day.
So let me ask you: Do you feel you have enough supporting characters right now on your team to be able to contend?
No,
you don't. You don't think.
The only light at the end of the tunnel, honestly, that we have, and people may call me crazy, is Al Horford because he's a veteran and there's no veteran presence. And Kendrick Perkins was saying this today. When you have a team, you need that veteran presence. There's you can't contend. Like, again, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are great individual superstars, but how are they making the team better? You're seriously going to sit here and tell me that we made it to the conference championship all these years and we still can't get over the hump? Like, why couldn't we beat Miami? And we're easily just as talented as they were, and we got there, right?
So are you already conceding on our bet?
No, I'm not conceding on our bet. Absolutely not. It's still early. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting the people know the truth of the matter because I can sit here and discuss it on my show tomorrow, but we have another topic for tomorrow.
So tomorrow is part 2, right? Between Mike and Greg?
Yeah, there's something cooking. There's something brewing for that part 2. Apparently, Mike wants to talk about, why playoff success is deemed better than regular season, and Greg has a certain things he wants to say in the comments. So that's why I felt like, you guys are talking about it. I'm going to chime in my 2 cents. I'm going to let y'all continue with your show. And the other thing, Manny, is you are down in the Pick'em's predictions like I told you would be. So I already know.
I'm in second place.
Doesn't matter. You're not going to last long. It's okay. It's already
okay. By what? 2 wins?
We're going into week 9, so I know you're not going to last too long. So I'm just letting you know.
I got what, 8 more weeks?
Say it again?
8 more weeks, right?
Yeah,
just more
about.
Weeks. What we doing?
But as I said, like this Sunday, just keep in mind, Smoke and Mirrors will be hosting the show. I won't be here. I'll be away in Saratoga on a conference.
So I'm definitely pulling up on Sunday.
So Smoke and Mirrors will be there. But as I said about the Celtics, they're going to continue having problems. They're going to continue having problems when you have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They have to play as a cohesive unit. You can't just play ISO basketball and not get everybody else involved. And it also doesn't help that the game before that, I watched this double overtime loss to the Wizards. The Celtics shot 2 of 23 from 3-pointers. That's going to help you win. Like, that's not like they don't have like. You mean to tell me we have Josh Richardson, we have Peyton Pritchard, Romeo Langford. This is a team that's going to help win a champ? No. I mean, I'm hopeful for it. I would like them to surprise me. They have the talent, but something's got to give. Something's got to give, and until Brad realizes, one of them got to go.
Do you think it may be Brad?
No, because Brad stepped
The
down.
GM.
No,
is he the
exactly.
GM now?
But he's
down. No,
but he's
in
still
a new
part
role.
of the organization.
Right. He's in a new role. But again, Brad was able to lead a young core team. Like when you have guys who are willing to fight and willing to play, like when you have a guy like that team in 2017, like we weren't going to beat LeBron. But when you have a guy like Isaiah Thomas, you had Jay Crowder, Avery Bradley, you had Kelly Olynyk, guys who are scrappy guys, Evan Turner, guys who want to play and guys who want to win. Like, that was a great team. You know what I mean? 2018, when I guess Kyrie went down and Horford went down and guys were willing to play for each other, you had Marcus Morris. Still guys who were willing to play. Same. I think Jay Crowder was on that team. Same mentality of guys who were on that team who were willing to win. Now it's not watching them play. It's not fun. It's not fun. As a fan, I'm sitting there like I love watching my team play when it's fun. It's not fun. And I'm not going to sit here and subject myself to it. So
the only reason why I asked if it was possible.
That's how you really feel, Cole.
It's true. It's not fun. Trust. I watch all the games.
Hey,
if I don't watch all the games,
zone.
I watch.
Let it out.
Like I'll watch a quarter. Like yesterday, I was literally driving home and they were up 19. I'm like, oh, I think we got this. I'm like, I don't want to jinx it. And then by the time I got home and I got settled in, they already gave up the lead. And I was just like, yeah.
Well, I have to say two things. I have to say, one, I think it's Brad Stevens, only because when he was the coaching a Jaylen Brown, coaching Jason Tatum, he put that type of decor in their head of give me the ball mentality. I feel,
you know who I still blame. I still blame Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge is still my problem. I mean, and I'm still going to blame him because he's a product of the people who got these players here. Brad is only I don't understand why Brad was in the role to begin. And part of the problem when you deal with it is ownership. Is ownership just content with just being a good team and not contending with winning a championship? They don't have a championship mentality. Like with Grossbeck, Steve Pagliuca, and Epstein, they don't have that championship DNA. Because if they did, then we would have been in the finals. Like, they don't have that. And part of it is, yes, I understand Boston is not your attraction city. No one wants to come play in Boston because it's cold. It's deemed as a racist city. You're only going to get players through the draft, and you're going to get players through trades. What trades are you bringing in here to make us competitive? Nothing. Right? And I'm going to continue saying this. Anthony Davis was available. Kawhi Leonard was available. There were a lot of names that were on the table. I understand.
But did you have the pieces?
Absolutely, we did. You know how many draft picks Danny Ainge stocked from the time that we traded with Billy King? For all those years, all those draft picks were stocked, and the Nets are better than us right now? Come on, man. Let's be serious. I understand players may not want to stay here. They don't like the culture, but establish a winning culture. And the other thing is, you don't have a former teammate in
Kevin
McHale to help out Danny Ainge anymore. He literally gift wrapped him the championship, and people still seem to forget that. And they want to sit here and tell me, like a Eric Siegel, oh, well, you know, Danny Ainge has done a great job. Danny Ainge had Kevin McHale in his back pocket. Kevin Garnett was supposed to go to the Lakers, and that trade got nixed. And then he said, all right, let me send them to my team. Come on, man. I've been sitting here watching this long enough.
I'll tell you this. First, the second thing before you went off on a tangent is I do appreciate your passion as a fan. I know you've always been a Celtics fan. You always are ride or die Celtics. But to be honest about it, similar to how I am with the Mets and the Jets. And I break down. There's no fans out there.
Like I said, I'm not going to take up too much time. Like I watch the team. I understand it. I break it down. I know what goes on in the organization. I watch the pre-games. I listen to the commentators. I understand what goes on in the team. And I knew going into the season, I wasn't going to be happy. I got to feel it wasn't going to be right. And I hope they prove me wrong. I hope they shut me up. But I know my team. I know what I'm watching. And you mean to tell me we had a double overtime? We were up 6 in double overtime. Mm-hmm. I think in the first one, and we still pushed it to a second overtime, and we lost the game. How? Come on, man. This is not right. I'm gonna get out of here before I continue.
No, I'm gonna tell you this though. We're gonna have you back on soon. We're gonna cook up something with organizations, and I would love.
Yeah, it starts at the top. It starts at the top of the helm. Yeah. It starts at the top. You don't have a good organization that cares about winning Like, these guys don't care. As long as they're filling the seats and they're putting money in their pocket, they don't give a shit.
I could give you a whole episode on my feelings on Jim Dolan as a Knicks owner.
Well, at least your team is doing right this year. He stepped away. You know, at least you're doing right. But some of these guys that we had, some of these guys that came into our team, we could have had a great, like I said, 2020 was our last chance. Mm-hmm. I don't understand how we didn't win in the bubble. That was our legit chance to cut out of the bubble.
Because the bubble didn't exist. That championship did not exist for anybody.
You know what I say about ifs.
Here we go.
You guys take care and have a great show. You guys
have a blessed day, sir.
God bless.
I'm still gonna win next week.
Not.
Watch.
No, you're
yes,
not.
I am. Yes, I am. Call.
Be safe, y'all.
Later,
man.
So we could talk NBA all day. You know,
can I talk about my team? I mean, you gave a whole intro spiel to your team with the intro music and stuff. I'm not even
actually relevant. We're actually relevant. I have to congratulate you. Congratulations to Joe Harris for passing Jason Kidd on threes. That's
You're a whole asshole.
You're a man.
You are an asshole.
I love it. That was a great. That was big. How you feeling?
Fuck Joe Harris. That's how I feel. All right. I was in the building on Friday. Ziggy from the Sports Hit List went to the game with me. We saw them play the Pacers. It was great. Shout out to Christopher Duarte, fellow Dominican. He's Canadian and Dominican, but I'm only gonna root for his Dominican side. You know, shout out to him. It was actually a lot. I felt like I was in Washington Heights with all the Dominicans in the game. They were going crazy. It was dope. He cooked. Young promising kid. So Mike, you can enjoy that for now. But right now, I would say that the Nets look okay. Obviously, Steve Nash doesn't know what he's doing. Kills me after a whole year with this roster. But let's see what happens. I'll be patient enough. But that's all I gotta say about the Nets right now. I don't care for Joe Harris at the moment. But we're still on basketball.
Well, I was gonna say I gave you the floor. I left because I thought you were gonna give me this whole soliloquy. I thought this was gonna be like a monologue at the end of like the first intermission on your feelings, and you gave me 2 sentences and a synopsis. What is up with that? Come on, tell me how you really feeling.
We're 4-3, I believe. I don't see no improvement. Like it's a long season. We got a lot of games to go. That's all I can say at the moment. But speaking of basketball, the city edition jerseys. What do you think of yours? Mine's is actually growing on me. Is a little bit nostalgic because of the colors. I only saw the flat part where I just saw the blue. I didn't see the sides of it and stuff. And I was like, okay. I mean, I always still like the alternate gray ones that we used to have with Jason Kidd.
I believe ours is black. I believe ours.
Yeah, yours is black and orange, I believe.
I like it. It looked good. I saw a picture of Kemba with it. I like it. I like it. I'll rock it.
But what player though would you get?
What player? The only player I'll ever rock is Carmelo Anthony on the New York Knicks.
Okay. But I'm saying for your team now, man. Come on.
For my team now, I gotta go either RJ Barrett because I'm a big Duke fan, or I gotta go Julius Randle. You gotta go to the Stars. I would only do Kemba. Kemba just came on the team. I hate when people buy those jerseys right away when a player just comes on a team. Like, I want them there more than a year, right? For it to mean something. That's when it's like, okay, great. That you actually have a jersey that matters and everything. When you're there and then all of a sudden something happens, and who's to say like they weren't going to trade him and something like that. Now you just have a jersey that's a relic. You know, it's
not that.
So that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, my bad about the background.
Okay.
Just want to chill out. The kids is hanging outside the window
is busy today. The Coliseum is busy.
They choosing violence.
So I want to talk to you. We have hockey that we're going to talk about. We got the Jets and we got NFL, football, but I want to talk about something that just came up today and a couple of people have already mentioned in the comments. And it's about your wide receiver. I don't know if ex-wide receiver at this point because I don't know what's going to happen next. Henry Ruggs III. and the details that are starting to come out as of what has occurred at 3:40 this morning in Las Vegas. He was involved in a DUI that caused a death. He's being charged with a DUI. I don't know if it's going to go up as high as manslaughter, but as a Raiders fan, as a fan perspective, let me know how you feel now, and we'll talk about the other ramifications to it.
I mean, I got the news. Shout out to Phil. He sent it in the group chat. I wasn't even paying attention. I'll take it. Something else. And I read the article, and it was like Henry Ruggs involved in a car crash. I'm like, oh shit! Like, I hope he's okay. But then it comes to find out that he was the one that caused it, and the person he hit, rear-ended, mind you, died. So I'm an advocate. I'm against drunk driving. That's one thing. I've lost a friend to it, unfortunately, when I was growing up, and it sucks, And to hear that it's a player of mine, mind you, this is the second time it's happened in the span of a year. Because last year, Josh Jacobs, after the last game of the season, I believe, when the team landed back home in Vegas, he drove his car and crashed into a barrier. Nobody was hurt. He wasn't hurt, maybe his ego, but he was driving impaired. I get it. Henry Ruggs, you're 22 and stuff, but the NFL in general, all the teams, they have a system where you can, if you're out drinking and stuff like that, or something happens to your car, so you need a service or whatever. First off, I don't care how much you make. If you're an executive, you're a player. You had the opportunity to get a cab, knowing that you're going to go out and drink and hang out with your friends or whoever you were with. And you decided, you know what, I'm going to drive. Oh, I only had a couple beers, or I had a couple, I had some liquor and stuff. No, you don't drive. You literally could have just phoned and said, hey, I'm a little bit intoxicated. I need to go home. I need a ride home. Or whoever you're with. If you have a designated driver, it's really not an issue. There's no excuse for it. And me as a fan, I am fucking pissed off. Henry Ruggs, I don't care what you do. You could somehow get back. We don't know what's going to happen to you, but you can come back to the Raiders, help us take us to the promised land if that even occurs. Yeah, an if. But I really don't give a shit about you right now. I'm still on the end with Josh Jacobs because of that shit last year. Like I'm livid. I'm pissed off. You don't do that, and you just killed somebody.
Yeah.
You can't bring them back. You think that family's gonna forgive you? And no money in the world is gonna bring back that person that you killed. He was selfish.
No, absolutely, and this goes into a bigger conversation that I've thought about many times as a fan. And it's when players think they're untouchable, right? And it's that mentality of thinking that you can do whatever you want. The rules don't apply to you. And it kills me to see that because of incidents like this, right? You even had it with your guy, Jason Williams, on the Nets.
Yeah, he shot it. He shot his limo driver?
Yeah, had a shotgun, was drunk. Whatever he was doing, partying, ends up shooting his driver, kills him. That type of mentality that people have, and I only bring that up because I know you as a Nets fan, but it's reckless, it's disgusting, and it's not needed. Because I'm going to talk like a dad for a second.
Mm-hmm.
There are kids out there that look at these players as role models.
Yeah.
They look at them as role models on the field. And before people at me on this, you can at me all day. You're not going to change my feelings on this. I understand that people can still live their life. They're not any different than anybody else. That's fine. But the common person, they jump behind the wheel drunk, their license is revoked, and they're in jail. So what's different for Henry Ruggs, who just killed someone because of his stupidity?
Mind you, he was having a good season. Not the greatest season, but he was doing well. He was cooking. What made you decide, especially after a bye week, man? A bye week. You were just off. You're coming to New York to play against the Giants this Sunday. And yeah, you just couldn't. Mind you, the thing that kills me, you have two athletes who are on sobriety. You had Darren Waller, who just battled drug addiction. And then you also had Mad Max Crosby, who was constantly drinking alcohol consistently. And he stopped. And look at the year he's having.
Yep.
You telling me you couldn't speak to any of these two guys who are technically captains, and be like, yo, I shouldn't even go out. Like, get some opinions, bro. There's no fucking excuse. I'm still pissed off. And honestly, at this point, fuck Henry Ruggs. That's how I'm gonna just keep. I have to keep that energy, right?
Yeah.
Fuck Henry Ruggs.
Yeah.
I don't care what happens to him. If he goes to jail, go to prison, do whatever. I don't care. So ain't no way coming back until unless you can raise the dead and bring that man back. I ain't forgiving you, bro. Nobody should forgive him. I'm sorry.
Now, I also have this statement, and it goes into, we're building all these expansion teams and we're building these new stadiums in these certain places. Correct me if I'm wrong, but do we really think Las Vegas was the best place for a stadium?
Because
nightlife?
Obviously there's going to be some, because it is Vegas, but let's not act like New York is like this safe haven or LA.
Same way.
Or LA and stuff. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. It is, Vegas is Sin City for a reason. Obviously, but isn't, look at the Golden Knights from the NHL.
Yeah.
Have you heard any issues or controversies with them? Remember, Vegas, this is the second year with Vegas.
Yeah, but to be honest, if there are issues, you don't hear about it only because you don't hear much about hockey unless it's an extreme event, something similar to this. Like if there was a DUI, charged, or if there was something else, like a marital dispute or anything like that. But you really won't hear anything in hockey, and I think that's more so because of a media outlet, right? Hockey is a lower media outlet than football, basketball. These players are more pronounced because of the way they're playing than a person that might be a third line winger that, got caught with a DUI. Maybe didn't kill someone, but got caught with a DUI. They're not really going to put that out in the news as much. It might come up on Bleacher Report for a second, but it's not going to be a huge, detail like this is, where it's on every news outlet right now.
Well, because somebody ended up losing their life. That's what makes it even worse.
Right.
So was it the right location? Honestly, I was hesitant on it at first, but I was like, screw it. Wherever my team go, I'm going to follow. They could be in Mexico. They can be in DR. They can be anywhere. I really don't give a shit. And I'm going to root for my team. But this part here, literally after what's been going on with John Gruden and his emails, let's not forget earlier in the season, we had some issues. Plus, we had Richie Incognito. Didn't he have that issue back in Buffalo?
Racism.
When he was beating the shit out. Well, not only the racism part, but he beat the shit out of. He was bullying one of his teammates.
Yeah, and it was because of homosexuality and all that other stuff. So like that, you have that, and see, this is you bring up a great point. You said about John Gruden. You just had this huge spotlight on your team. As a player, rookie, second year, whatever you are, 22-year-old kid, don't you think they're going to hone in more so on your team right now because that is still an open investigation? That's one. But two, I look at it this way, and correct me if I'm wrong, and fans correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of players in the NFL are thought of as thugs, are villainized in a certain way. So when something goes wrong, it's another, hey, here, look at this. Look what happened next. Look what happened next. And it's thrown on every media outlet. That is my opinion when I look at it, because when anything happens in the NFL, when Ray Rice is issued, and again, it could be a race issue, right? Think about it. It could be a race issue, because do we think the same thing would have happened to a Phillip Rivers media outlet wise? Maybe because of his name, but it could be a race issue too. Because in the NFL, there is no commonality. And there's a certain villainization of NFL players. And I don't know if it's because of the way the media treated the whole Colin Kaepernick situation, if it started then, if it's been going for years, with the way the NFL is treated.
Mike, nothing's going to change, unfortunately. I would love for the emails to be distributed and find out and expose everything, honestly.
Yeah. But
that's how I feel.
Itself.
But the thing is, Mike, there's so much shit going on between the NFL, and if you notice, nothing changes. I mean, Colin Kaepernick just came out with a series, I think, a documentary on Netflix about his life and stuff. I'm like, I haven't checked it out. I definitely want to check it out. But, you know, it's never going to end. This whole shit with the NFL is never going to end. Racism, all that stuff.
It's
but
not. And
honestly, we can spend forever talking about it. Nothing's still going to change.
No,
even when your kids grow up, even to become adults, graduate college, NFL is still going to be the same. Unfortunately,
and you know what? That's you know, as a father of two women, that kills me, right? Because I want them to enjoy the sports I enjoy, but because there's so many highlights of different issues with certain players, you know, certain media outlets throwing the players to the wolves essentially for certain issues. I never want them to see that side, but I can't stop them from that. I want them to enjoy the sport, right? I want to be able to sit with them as a parent and be able to get them into the worries and the woes of the Jets, as I am always looking at. You know, I want to put them in. I want to put them in dismay, I guess. But being able to watch it and not think about what's going on behind the scenes, because for us as fans, I don't know about you, but I feel like it's been more highlighted over the years and more pronounced over the years. And I don't know what it is. This is a standalone case with Henry Ruggs, but I every time I think of something that goes on with an NFL player, this is what's always in the back of my mind, is what is the media going to do now to villainize the NFL as an organization?
They won't. They won't. You know how it is.
I think you're wrong, because I bet you.
I mean,
look at the whole
thing. What?
I think they're going to turn around right now, and even though they're going to blame Henry Ruggs for what he did, they're still going to blame the Raiders organization somehow, some way. Guarantee it. The media comes out and blames him somehow, some way.
Raiders will forever be villains, no matter what. Let's not forget the history between Roger Goodell,
right,
and Al Davis. You understand? Like, throughout the franchise history, you can think of, we had ex-convicts. I mean, we've had all these things. So again, it's not. So it's like, at the end of the day, I'm just to give the people what they want, but I'm just livid. I'm pissed off at Henry Ruggs, and honestly, he should be ashamed of himself. I don't care how old you are. You weren't doing some of this shit probably when you were in college. You were in Oklahoma. Like, mind you, after that whole thing with John Gruden, when they first released and stuff with the emails, we get shellacked by the Bears, which was a guaranteed win. We get shellacked by them, especially by Khalil Mack, who was a former teammate of ours, who we traded. And then we come back and we beat the Eagles. 33-22, I believe that was the score. We had a great game, bounce back. Like, yeah, let's go. Rick Bisaccia, you did your thing. We came back. We woke up. Now we're 5-2. Guess what? We play against the Giants this week. We don't know if Henry Ruggs is even gonna play. But then also,
I don't think you have him play. I definitely don't.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll be pissed if he does play. And then another thing is like the locker room. Mm-hmm. What about the teammates?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think Darren Waller or Matt Crosby is gonna feel some type of way? Like, yo, you killed somebody.
Yep.
You my teammate and all. You saw what I've been through. I fought it. I stood sober. And what happened? You do the complete opposite of what he did? Like, come on, man. You had.
Are you going to the game on Sunday?
Nah.
I
was gonna go, but I had a prior engagement. I had things I had to take care of.
Okay.
But
I wish you were going. That would have been great to do a live from there.
Honestly, if I had tickets, I would still go, but I'll be a little pissed off. Because honestly, man, it's like, I love my team, but it's just so hard at times. Like, I don't care. People are always gonna say they suck and this and that. I'm gonna die with my team regardless. But it's like when you got certain players doing stuff like this, especially a young kid, man, like this is your second year, man. This is like your breakout year. You're gonna come out and show the league who you really are. And it's like it's very frustrating.
And you know that you bring up a great point, because as a fan, right, you love a team, but then you have knuckleheads on a team, right? Yeah, the Giants had Plaxico Burress shoot himself in the leg, right? Stuff like that. How do you like? That's the passion of a fan, because you still root for them. You still pay for the merchandise. You still buy the tickets to go to games, even though you got some knuckleheads, because of the passion you have for that team, which is what it means to be a fan, right? The highs and the lows. And I got to talk about, so I think we could put the Henry Ruggs to rest for now until more comes out, as it is, still swirling on what happened and everything that occurred. But I would like to, as my boy Charlie Baldy just came in, the high of the week, my man, Mike White, the man nobody knew, not even me. Nobody knew. And I have to apologize publicly to Mike White for ripping into him as a no-name. Technically, he kind of still is, but no one knew this man. We had him as a backup to Zach Wilson and said, well, why isn't there no veteran presence? This guy came out and said, you know what? Hold this. And took the game over. He went, and fact check me on this, but he went 10 for 10 for almost 90 yards in that first drive. He was on fire. The moves and the plays that they had, why wouldn't they make those plays for Zach Wilson? Why have they not used that type of playbook for Zach Wilson to start a game? That is the momentum people need to be able to succeed, especially a quarterback. The way he came out and said, you know what? I got this. He was amazing. And you know what's funny? He actually tweeted to Peyton Manning one time saying, I'm going to beat your best game, right? Your best yardage. He threw for 405 yards for 3 touchdowns.
Went off.
And the team played around him. And they didn't even hold off to wait for practice on Monday to tell him he was starting. Saleh said, you know what? I'm going to tell you Sunday night. He is starting Thursday against the Colts. So I don't even know why they needed to go after Joe Flacco. They could have just said, Joe, hold this. You can go carry his jockstrap now, because you shouldn't even have been on the team. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Mean,
and then Mike White does this.
It's a great win for you guys, because this is the same Bengals team that destroyed the Ravens the week prior. So for Mike White, I know Ricardo, he always has this weekly bad QB. And I know a bunch of people actually picked Mike White to be their bad QB contest on FanDuel, I believe. And they definitely lost miserably, whoever put Mike White, because he dogged out. And actually, I heard a bettor actually bet $1,000. I was just going to say,
I wonder if he won. I got to see.
No, he did. He did win, because he needed Daniel Jones and Patrick Mahomes to throw under 400.
And nobody did. Yeah, nobody did.
They didn't reach it.
Nice. I'm happy about that. See, and I know Anthony Price is in the comments and he's saying, it's only one game. I understand that, but you have to understand, me as a Jets fan and our misery, one game is every game. Every game we win, we pop in the champagne, we pop in the confetti, because we don't get very, very many of them. We already are close, if not already beat our record from last year. So I'm taking it.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
So
that was definitely a good highlight for you guys, honestly. It was a good week.
It was. And talking about my teams, unfortunately you got the lows this week, I got the highs. But our team, the New York Rangers, 4 road wins. They look good.
And we just signed we just extended our best defensive, the best defensive.
The Norris Trophy winner to another 7 years. That man's gonna be wearing the red, white, and blue for many years to come. I gotta give a shout out to Chris Drury, because we actually have a solidified team to at least 2025 of these young studs. So we look good. We look good. Shesterkin looks great. 0.99 goals against in those 4 games. I'll take that any day of the week. Any day of the week. We got Vancouver tonight. They're 3-5. We're 6-2.
Is it on?
Second
It's not on TNT, no, right? That's NBA's on TNT.
No,
tonight.
yeah, NBA's on TNT tonight. It's not on TNT. It's probably on MSG.
Okay.
But listen, we look good. We look good. And Charlie, shut up. Rare win by Drury. He's been making more wins than the Islanders. Stop it.
Islanders are trash.
We look good. I'm hoping that this moves forward, and that's why if anybody caught our opening, I had the New York Knicks theme song because to me it feels like 1994. I know people are going to say it's only 2 weeks in. You going crazy? That's okay. Let me celebrate now because my tears will go in a jar when we're not making the playoffs in a couple months.
Already?
I don't know, but if it happens, I'm telling you, I'm okay with it because as long as they play hard and as long as they play well, we are going to do well.
Didn't Mike Breen last night use what that Knick fan said after the first game?
Yep. Bing bong. The train has opened.
Oh,
if you want, as a Knicks fan, we still have room on that shuttle going to Grand Central or even going to 34th Penn Station. If you want to jump on, we will allow you on.
Who are you talking to?
Not you.
Oh, I'm about to say, I'm like, what the hell wrong with you?
No, you can.
I do want
to
point out.
You can take that forward to Brooklyn.
I do want to point out that on Friday Nets game, the arena was chanting MVP for Kevin Durant, and my good buddy, our good friend Ziggy.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
He actually chanted, and he's playing like an MVP. I'm so mad I didn't record it, but I could tell you right now, I was right there front and center, and I heard him say it and chant just like everybody else. That's all I'm gonna say, Ziggy.
Ziggy, I'm calling you to the front of the congregation line to please absolve from your sins. What are you doing, Zig? Come on, man.
My man had a good time at the game. He was enjoying the view. He was enjoying Kevin Durant cook.
Listen.
So,
I know him as a fan, as a New York Knicks fan. He's been a fan for life. I give him a pass. This one, I'll give him a pass.
Here we go.
If I hear it again, then we're really calling him out. But I'll give him a pass this one. But speaking of teams, and speaking of the lackluster transactions we had this deadline, you actually asked me a question right before we went on the air. So
shout out to my boy Ray Rodriguez. He actually brought this up for me later today, actually right before the show. So I thought it was a great question to ask. So of course, go ahead and allow the audience.
What is the worst trade of your organization that at the time people thought was going to be the best trade and ended up ruining your team for that time? I'm going to let you go first, Manny.
I mean, you already know my whole thing with the Nets. I mean, Carl alluded to it because he loves to mention it. Billy King trading our draft picks for Gerald Wallace, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, all these supposed guys that were going to do something for us. We didn't have a first-round draft pick for like 6 years. And still we managed to somehow still have a better team than the Celtics going forward, regardless of their success. So I still hate that. Billy King, if I ever catch him, ever. Like, honestly, I don't even care at this point. Like, I'm still going to give him I'm giving him the monos, like, straight up. Honestly, I don't care. He's still dead to me.
Mine is when we traded Scott Kazmir with the New York Mets for Zambrano. And the other two don't really matter in that trade. That's why I give it. There was a 4-player trade, but the two big ones were Scott Kazmir, and Carlos Zambrano. Zambrano came to the Mets and he was downright awful. Scott Kazmir, who is the top pitching prospect, was lights out for Tampa. made the All-Star game 2006, All-Star game 2008. Obviously, towards the end of his career, he had injuries, but what were they thinking? Duquette, who was our GM at the time, what were you thinking? And even the fans let him know. But he thought a win now mentality, bringing Zambrano, and he was terrible. He was getting shellacked every single game. Terrible. Didn't last long. And we lost our top prospect. That was the best move you could have made for Scott Kazmir.
Yep.
That was my worst one that I could think of. There's other ones.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty.
There's plenty, but those are the ones that jump into my mind. But speaking of baseball, we got game 6 tonight. We got the Astros down 3-2. We got the Braves 1 game away from winning it all.
They're winning it tonight. That's all.
You think they're winning it tonight?
6-3. 6-3. That's gonna be the final score for tonight. 6-3, because I'll tell you this right now. Last game 5, they literally had a chance to close it out. Because I mean, let's talk about it. The first inning, grand slam. You're up 4-0. What happens? And this has been the Astros for so long. They're so resilient, and they will continue to chip away that lead. It ended up being going into the third 4-2. They scored 2 runs in the second inning, and then what happens? Third inning comes, they tie the game. Then they just continue over and over. I mean, the bullpen was getting shellacked, but I'll tell you this right now: the Braves starting pitching. I mean, I'll tell you this. Like, shout out to Greg and the fellas in the baseball chat. They brought up great points. They were saying, and Smoking Mirrors. The Atlanta's bullpen is really their best pitching at the moment. They have a lot of young, inexperienced players, starting pitchers. Obviously, losing one of their main guys who pitched phenomenal for 2-3 innings before he broke his leg. I mean, Jesus. But I would say the Braves win tonight, because honestly, I would, again, like I said before, baseball fans love Game 7 in the World Series, just like Carl and all the NBA fans love Game 7 in the NBA playoffs, finals, all that. So I feel like if the Braves do not close out tonight, the Astros will have that momentum, because the way the Astros are playing right now kind of reminds me of the Kansas City Royals in 2016.
Oh,
I had that one in my pocket for a while. That was great. I love that. Every single time your starting pitching dominated them, and then the minute that bullpen came, just kept chipping. Shout out to Chipper Jones and his child, Shay.
You call for violence today, but I will not. I will not participate yet. I have to say my prediction is if the Astros can continue their momentum against Fry, right? He's pitching tonight. They can push and get him out early and don't give him momentum as a pitcher. They have a good shot of winning tonight's game. The reason why is because it's in Minute Maid Park. You know that place is going to be loud. No pun intended on banging the trash cans, but you're going to hear loud noises in Minute Maid Park tonight. I think the Astros are not just going to lay down and take this loss. They're going to fight hard. If the Braves win, it's not going to be 6-3. I think it's going to be a 7-6 game, and they're going to score that 7th run in the 8th inning to take the lead. If the Astros win, I think you're right. They have the momentum going into Game 7. I did pick the Astros winning it. I will tell you, no, Eddie, because Eddie likes to say, oh, it's because of me. I hope the Braves win. No, Eddie, it is because I want to see Dusty Baker win. I want to see him be able to finally hoist that trophy, because he's been put in many different shit scenarios and been able to turn shit into diamonds.
If the Astros win the series, he would actually get his first one as a coach, as a manager.
And that's what
he has one as a player.
as a manager, because he's been put in shit scenarios and said, you know what, this is a young team. Dusty Baker can take care of them, and he gets thrown to the wolves. So I think that it's going to come down to one, you got the DH on both sides in Minute Maid Park. You got the noise of the fans. But if they can take down Fried early on, if first 2 innings, he's giving up hits, they're down 3-0, you're pulling him. You're going to your bullpen. Yes, your bullpen is rested. Your bullpen is your best part. But is your bullpen really worthy of 3 to 4 innings, if not more? So that's what it's going to come down to. You know that the Braves are going to come out hitting because we've seen it all series so far. Even people as far as Travis d'Arnaud hitting home runs. By the way, using bats that are not even his. I think in my heart, as a fan, we're going Game 7. Who do I take in Game 7? I don't know. That's really what I get that for. So Manny, as we end our hour-long rant on the issues in sports, who gets your hands of the week?
My bad.
All right.
I Taylor White. Sorry about that. My mother actually hit me up. But my hands of the week obviously went to Henry Ruggs. I wanted to save it for the last thing, but the fans were asking it. They wanted my opinion on it. So Henry Ruggs, you definitely get hands of the week. Honestly, it's not even hands of the week today. It's piece of shit of the week. To be honest with you, my condolences to that family that lost a family member of theirs due to his selfish choice. It sucks because I actually liked the kid. I thought he was a good player for my team. Obviously, he's on my team, so I'm going to root for him every chance I get. And yes, and I'm going to address something to the sports hit list, family and viewers. I go hard for my team. I go hard for every single one of these players. But if they start doing things that are jeopardizing, especially involving killing somebody, whether or not they intended to, I'm going to give them the same energy that I would give if they weren't even on my team. Henry Ruggs was selfish. He pissed me off. He cost somebody their life. And honestly, I don't want to hear anything else about it. I mean, people gonna have their jokes and stuff, but you just have no excuse for the actions you did. Hello? Yeah, it's funny. It's just everybody's pulling up saying hi to me, and they just call me Gordito.
You're a celebrity. They watch the fan zone.
Yeah, I'm about to put Gordo as my name now. That's my street name. But honestly, this whole situation, like I go hard for Kyrie and all the other players, but when they do something wrong like this, I just it pisses me off, especially when I do defend them for certain things, like obviously their play because of what they do outside of the sport or whatever. They're human. They could do whatever. They deserve to party, do whatever, all that shit. But just be responsible for once. Because like you said before, if you and me did something like that, we going to prison for years. So.
Yeah. So, obviously, I thought about my hands of the week, a couple of days here and there. As everything goes on, I'm like, is that going to be my hands of the week? No, that's going to be my hands of the week. Obviously, Henry Ruggs is one for both of us where it's just a disgusting situation. And I hope that justice is served one way or the other for that family of that, victim of the situation. But my hands of the week go to the New York Giants. They had every opportunity to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They had the interception at the end of the game.
Offsides.
It was called offsides. They shot themselves in the foot. As a Jets fan, I laugh. As a football fan, I go, what is wrong with you? You do not give a team like Kansas City Chiefs that many opportunities. The reason why is because now you keep them in the playoff hunt. They go 4-4. Who knows? Maybe wild card. But you don't give them that opportunity. Mahomes wasn't. So Declan says Mahomes wasn't throwing that if it wasn't a free play. Come on now. Doesn't matter. Still happened.
Nah, he's a Mahomes apologist. You a fan of Mahomes now, Declan?
Come on. You
Matter of
can't
fact,
make excuses. You can't make excuses for your Giants because they were on a national screen showing what they did.
Mind you, he didn't even go for them this week.
That's
his team.
See, I'm sorry.
But he'll
choose
the Bills every single. He will choose the Bills every single week. And I forgot what Declan was coming at me yesterday. He was getting all riled up, saying that Raiders this, Raiders that. Like, yo, Declan, my team is 5-2 at the end of the day. Derek Carr is showing why he's been consistent as a player. Yeah, we got shellacked by the Bears, but I talked about that. You think I excuse that for anything? Hell no. Still dealing with off the field bullshit issues. Now, I'm telling you right now, Declan, who are you rooting for this week? Let me ask you that. Who are you rooting for this week? Are you going to keep the same energy and root for the Raiders to beat your team? Or are you just going to pick your team finally to show that you actually care about your team? Because obviously you don't.
I'm going to tell you right now, Travis and Paul Lawson are my witness. And even Greg, they yell at me every week that I'm on the NFL Sunday pregame. But if the Jets are playing, the Jets are my pick. I don't care because it's any given Sunday or Monday or even Thursday for these days. But I do have a message from Travis. He says you're a loser. I'm sorry.
Yo, you know what? I'm gonna say this right now. Greg, Steph, if you're watching this, I understand you two and Declan are hosting NFL Sunday. I'm gonna pull up. And Travis, be ready. Because you did not have any type of energy like this. Because let me check.
You won by 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago?
Bro. The first week of the fantasy football season, I destroyed him by 63 points. This week, he beats me by 5. All because Sterling Shepard goes down in the second quarter.
Well, you should have also never drafted a Giants wide receiver.
He was my last pick.
Doesn't matter. What's wrong?
No, I made the
Your
mistake.
last pick usually should be a kicker.
I made the mistake at trusting a Giant player. But I'm biased, remember? I'm not supposed to be picking other players that are not on my team. Unlike Carl likes to say, Mr. Vince McMahon himself. Well, guess what? I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin. So Carl, I'm about to pull up to that trip you go on this weekend. I'll hit up Dev, like, yo, Dev, real quick, where's your address at right now? I'll pull up with the Sosas or whatever. And we will be taking the cab or Uber driver. I have a designated driver because I am responsible. But at the end of the day, Declan, you better pray the Giants win this week because I'm pulling up on Monday. I'm telling you right now. But Sunday, I will be pulling up to the NFL show. Watch. Like Ricardo says, he got the keys. Ricardo gonna help me out. Don't worry, I'm pulling up Sunday. And Travis, you're a piece of shit.
Well, with that being said, we are the Fan Zone, and I'm going to leave everybody.
Nothing's going to stop us from hanging a banner. Not the Hawks, Heat, or even Indiana. It's the Knicks, back on pace, back in the chase. That's right, the 8th seed, and they're taking the race. And while you try and react to the shots we be blocking, check out the team that keeps the Garden rocking. Spree, hitting threes, playing D. Houston launching jumps from the top of the key.